All right, so it's been a while since I uploaded anything, and I guess this is the time to this isn't really like a tell-all, but this is just like my tribute to God, you know, just trying to give him some type of glory because, I haven't really, you know, shared much, done much. But right now I'm in Thailand. I'm in Chiang Mai. I guess, I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm in Chiang Mai right now. Room's a mess, the bed's a mess. They're supposed to be coming and cleaning today. So they're probably going to be coming anytime soon. Might interrupt the video, so I'll probably have to stop in the middle of it. But whatever, it's fine. We'll just continue once they're done. But yeah, man, this is just basically a video of my testament to God, and he's helped me through my life. And there's a lot of things that people close to me don't really know about me. So this is kind of a video to basically share with you, and let you know, like, for right off the bat, everything's good. Like, I am fine, everything's cool. But everybody has a past and things happen, and yeah, it's just time to share because I don't see a sense in keeping everything, my life secretive, because I'm very, very private. I don't really share much. I don't talk much. I just really, I keep to myself, really. But it's not really a thing that I want to continue doing. So this is like kind of also that of, this is a start to, open up and let people know, So starting off, going way back when I was younger, I had a lot of dreams about death. I had a lot of, dreams about like being left behind. Like, I grew up as a Christian, right? Well, I still am. But I grew up in a Christian household, Christian family, and I just always had dreams about dying, and just like being left behind, like being left. You can look that up, But yeah, and it was just crazy. As like a child, because like when you're in church as a kid, you don't really get exposed. They don't really tell you much about the dark side of things as part of like the spiritual world and whatnot. They don't really get into that. It's more just like, singing songs like Jesus loves you, this I know, stuff like that. So there was really no reason for me to be having these kind of dreams and whatnot. So I just never understood it. I remember going to church, and I told somebody about it, and she was like, "Oh, just lay on your stomach, and that's why that way, the evil spirits can't get to your heart, and they won't come into your dreams." And I don't know, that I don't know. It kind of helped, like maybe for a couple of days, but it didn't really do much. But the reason why I'm sharing that is to segue into the next part. It'll come up. It'll come up a little bit. But yeah. So I truly believe, from birth, everyone is assigned a guardian angel, right? But the other side to that, whatever you want to call it, right? You want to say evil spirit. You want to say some bad energy. You want to call it a demon. Whatever you want to call it, that is also assigned to you as well. That's what I believe, right? Now, the reason I believe it is because of things that I've experienced in my life, which we'll get into that later as well. But I truly believe in heaven and hell, spiritual warfare, all that kind of stuff, right? I don't think anything's left up to chance. Everything is working for a purpose. So, the good things that happen to you, the bad things that happen to you, there's a purpose for it all. Some things that work, whether it's a good force or it's a bad force, some things that work whenever anything happens. So it's one of those things, like, if you believe in God, he's not going to leave things up to chance. He's not going to leave things up to he's not going to leave the ability of you to learn about him up to chance. And then on the other side, evil, they're not going to leave things up to chance for you to not learn about him or make it to heaven. They're gonna work to get you to where they want to get you, which is hell if you believe in that thing. And if you don't, it's fine. I mean, I still think watching this video, you'll learn something, because it's not just about that. It's about, other type of experiences, a lot of other type of trauma that people go through in their life. So either way, you'd learn something. Either way, I hope this video can help. I hope this video just speaks to you in some type of way. God sees everything, right? But evil doesn't. Evil only sees what they're present to, So that's where the assignment comes for evil spirits to be assigned to you. That's how they learn about you. That's how they find out your weaknesses, right? And sometimes they create weaknesses for you. So the only way that, the only way that the devil, right, can actively do what he set out to do, which is separate you from God and also hurt God in however he can, they like to start early. They like to start in your childhood, right? That's where they'll find your weaknesses. They'll follow you since you're a child, and then go on from there and just figure out how to get you down. There's a movie called Nefarious. Now, Nefarious is a demon that was he was possessing someone, and that demon killed someone in that movie, right? And the demon was in prison, and then there was a lawyer that came to talk to this person, basically the demon and the person that was being possessed. They would take turns from talking to him. But yeah, it seems like that movie was just like a really, really good representation of how things work and how that world works and how they think. Demons will try to set things in motion to take you off of whatever path God set for you, and they'll set things in motion early on in your life, and it's kind of like a domino effect. You never really realize it, but a lot of people go through trauma as a child, and the after effect, their personality, the things that they do, the way that they think, it all comes back to that. 'Cause there's a domino effect, that happened, now you think this way, so now you're doing this, and then you get into that, and you get to something else. It's one of those things. But yeah, I'll connect that part. We'll connect that part now. But when I was a kid, right, and nobody knows this, right? I haven't really told anyone other than my girlfriend that I'm dating now. When I was a child, now I'm gonna have to swap words just for I guess on YouTube there's certain words that you can and can't say, certain phrases that you can and can't say. So I'm gonna have to swap some words, but I'm pretty sure if use context clues and you'll understand what I'm saying. But when I was a child, I was violated, right? Whatever you want to call it, graped, whatever. Essayed as a child, right? But yeah, I was convinced to do things as disguised as a game by one of my cousins, and I don't know if he's alive or dead, but and I guess I can say the name, Steven. Yeah. But yeah, it was early on. From what I remember, I think it happened maybe 4th or 5th grade or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, it was early on. It was elementary school around there. A lot of it's kind of blurry because when that happened to you, you kind of suppress it for a while, for a long time. I forgot that even happened. Like, I'd say periodically, it would like flash back, like throughout my life. Like this is like early on. Um, it would flash back, and then it'll just get suppressed again, and then I'd forget. Like even like when you see things on movies and you see things happening, you see things similar that's happening, my brain wouldn't even like connect that, oh, that happened to me. The only thing I would know was like the only thing that would happen was like I kind of get angry at the movie, and that's it. Like I would never attach that to me. Like I just didn't connect it. So I was like, it was just like really really suppressed. I mean, it kind of didn't spring back up like fully into my memory until like after high school. And I think that was because my brain was just always busy during high school, or during like my younger years, like all the way to up until high school finishing. My brain was always busy because, you got school, right? As a kid, everything's about school. So you wake up early, you getting up for school, you're getting up at like 6 in the morning, going to school, doing this, you're always stimulated. And you get out of school, you got homework, and you're trying to hang out with your friends, so you're trying to play outside, yada yada yada. So your brain is just always active, growing up when you're in school. And then after high school, I guess I started getting more downtime and started, having more time to like think and reflect on things. And then I guess that's when it's just the memories of it, you know, sprang back up, and they just never went away. Um, and at this time, this is like, we'll say it's like after, around high school. Um, I was pretty angry. I was full of rage. And I told myself, if I ever see him again, I was ready to go to jail for it. I was ready to go to jail for it. Whatever it was, I was ready to do. I knew how I was going to do it. But yeah, what I'm saying? It's just the aspect of revenge was just in me, and I'm not that type of person. Like, I don't really like stay angry, right? I don't get angry much. There's not many people that have seen me angry, because I'm the type of person that's usually chill. I don't talk much. I'm go with the flow. Even if something is inconveniencing me, I'm just gonna let it go. I'm not the type to make a big deal out of it. It's just because it's whatever. But yeah, but for that, I wanted revenge. I was just full of rage for a very long time, and also, you feel shame. You feel shame about yourself. You kind of blame yourself for it. You think about it like, damn, like you're an idiot. Like you really let that happen. Looking at yourself as a man, looking at the kids like, bro, like, you want to smack them. It's like, bro, what I'm saying, don't let that happen. But it's one of those things. Is you're a kid. It's you can't blame yourself. But I did for a very long time. So yeah, for a very long time, I didn't know how to heal from that. I didn't know what to do with it. So I just, I just let it out. I just let whatever it was be. And the result of that, the result of all that, I kind of fell into the, the sexual immorality aspect of things. And then also, like, I had this weird fear, like, being around kids. Like, I didn't want to be around kids. I didn't like being around kids alone. I didn't like babysitting kids. Like, I didn't like being around them. But I had a lot of cousins, I had a lot of nephews and nieces that I had to watch. I never enjoyed it. I don't know, man. Like, I didn't like it at all. I didn't like being around kids, right? But I had to babysit and whatnot. But it's weird though, because growing up, kids always gravitated towards me for some reason. Like, random kids would just always smile, say hi, come up to me. And I didn't understand why. I'm like, why are you guys around me? Like, why are you, like, you don't know stranger danger? And yeah, man, I believe, God has a set path of people, right? And I believe that, God probably had like some type of path for me to, I don't know, be some type of caregiver. But because of what happened, I just didn't like being around kids. And recently I realized that when I was around kids, the memory of what happened would come up. And that's what kind of created that fear, And it wasn't even like, it's so weird. It's so weird. Like, I'd be afraid that if I was alone with a child, not that I would do anything, because I wouldn't, like, that's disgusting. But if I was alone with a child, I would be thinking in my head, the parent is gonna look at me and think that I would do that to their child. But in reality, nobody is really thinking about that. Like, nobody actually thinks about that stuff at all. Like, unless you're into that thing, unless you're like a sick person, like, nobody's really thinking about that. That's why that stuff actually happens, because people think, if you seem like a nice person, you seem like a nice guy, you seem like a nice girl, you're gonna take care of, you're gonna be nice to their child. If they're, it's one of those things that people don't realize. People don't take real precaution for these type of things, and they should, because it happens. And that's why this does happen, because people don't think about that stuff. But yeah, whenever I was alone with a kid, I would always think to myself, I'd always think like, they're gonna think that I'm gonna do something to this kid, and I don't want nobody thinking that about me. So I don't want to be around your kid. That's just how it was. But yeah, so like, to avoid, me feeling that way, I just try to stay away from kids as much as possible. And to anyone watching, that I deny quality time to, I'm sorry. It wasn't you, it wasn't anything like that. A lot of my nephews, like my nephew, my nieces and all that stuff. I just never gave them time to hang out with them or anything like that. It's just one of those things that it's nothing on you guys. It was just some things that I had to fix. You know what I'm saying? And I remember my nephew would ask me to go places, and I always tell him no. My teacher, Ms. Schroeder, her kids, I would want to go outside and play, or want me to check out something in their room. And I'd either say, yeah, in a little bit. I'll go out there in a little bit, yeah. And I didn't plan on going. I didn't plan on going out there to play with you. I didn't want to go in the room or check out whatever it was, you know what I'm saying? They wanted me to see something at their, in the room, I'd usually just stand right by the door frame, just to make sure that they see me, like the parents, they see me, and, and they know that nothing's going on, because I just had that fear that I don't want anyone to ever think that I would do that, I don't want anyone to ever think that, I would do something like that. It's just, yeah, like, I don't know. It's just how it was, man. But I remember one time, we were out to eat, and one of her kids, one of her sons, needed to go to the bathroom, and he asked me to take him, and I'm like, and in my head, like outside, I'm like whatever, but in my head, I'm like, the hell you want me to, like, why do you want me to, why you want me to take you? Like, ask your mom. I'm like, your mom's right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, ask your mom. Your mom's right here, dude. And I was freaking out inside, man. I was like, I do not, like, absolutely not. I do not want to take you to the bathroom. And I was saying that in my head, and then, his mom, she goes, yeah, it's perfectly fine. Go ahead, take him. I'm like, what the freak? I'm like, you don't know what happens? Like, you don't know how people are? Like, no, not people, but, like, you don't know how, there's dangerous people out there. There's dangerous people out there. Like, you can't just, let anyone take your kid and go do something and then, go to the bathroom with them just because they asked. But that's the thing, like, not everyone thinks that way. And, they saw me as someone that, they saw me as a good person, basically, which I try to be. I believe I am, but it's just one of those things. It's like I just did not want to be around children that way. I didn't want to be around children because when I was around children, I thought to myself, they're gonna think that I'm gonna do something that I don't want. I don't ever want that thought to ever go into their head. I don't ever want the opportunity for that thought to resonate or anything, right? But yeah, so went in, took him to the bathroom. He did this thing, picked him up to help him wash his hands, and then got out of that bathroom as quickly as possible. But I just found it so odd at the time. I found it so odd that she can trust me to take her kid to the bathroom. But in reality, all this worrying and the stress of being around a kid and people thinking about me in a certain way, none of that was true because it was all in my head. It was all just me. Just because of something that happened to me, I now have this issue. I have now this problem of being around kids and thinking to myself, like, I'm afraid of it, basically afraid of to be around children. It's crazy. Even though I know even though I know, I personally know I would never do something, but just the thought of someone else thinking that I would, or, even that there's a possibility, that scared me and suppressed me so much. But nobody was ever thinking it. Nobody ever saw me as that. But yeah, it's crazy. I ended up writing a book to kind of like, it's like a little kid, it's like a little children's book. So basically, just like to encourage parents to discuss things with their children more, and kind of like open up the door. Make sure kids know that the door's open for you to speak and for you to discuss, no matter what it is, whether it's good or it's bad. Like, I think sometimes parents don't think to discuss that or think to walk into that realm or prepare their kids, or not really prepare their kids for anything, but sometimes, like me growing up, I grew up in a culture of stop telling, why you always tattling, why you always doing this, why you always, sometimes I didn't, and there were times where I didn't really feel feel like I could open up. I could, talk to him about things, And it's not a fault to anyone, not a fault to my mom or anything like that. But there was just times where, I felt like I couldn't open up. I couldn't, discuss things. We didn't really have many open discussions. We didn't really have many, sit downs and talks just, about everything, about life. And I think that's something that you should be doing with your children. Just, talking things out and, So yeah, I wrote a book, a little short little children's book. It's supposed to be just basically to help parents get into that, segue them into that kind of into that kind of thing. And then I was like, oh yeah, I wrote this book. But yeah, I ended up trying to throw it to a few publishers and whatnot. Started emailing them and saying, hey, I wrote this book, yada yada yada. Want to check it out? No one wanted it. It was trash. So I still got it, but it's just sitting there. But yeah, man, whether you know it or not, like, kids go through a lot, right? Even though like it doesn't seem like they have much responsibility, there's a lot that goes on in kids' minds. There's a lot that because they're trying to grow into a world where there's so many things, so many obstacles, so many things that they don't know about. So many, there's just so much going on in kids' minds. So I think that you just have to be very, very active in your kids' lives, and be very nosy, especially when it comes to having conversations with your kids on a deeper level. You got to try to do that early on to solidify that, to plant that into their head, like, yo, like, I'm here for you to, not just to protect you, not just to raise you, but I'm here for those kind of discussions, or the uncomfortable discussions. Like, I'm here for that. Like, I just think that that's something that parents have to do, based on my experiences. But yeah, fast forward now, I'm at peace with that, with what happened. I'm at peace with all of it, because of God. And we'll get into that a little bit later on. I didn't just miraculously get over it or heal. I had to work on that. And I'll talk about how I did that later on. But yeah, I don't hold a grudge. I don't have any anger towards that person. All is forgiven. I don't know where they are, to be honest with you, but it's all good. You know what I'm saying? So, and going back to like the first part of this, like how I started it off about like the guardian angel and the evil spirits being assigned to you. The reason why I believe that is true, that there is an evil spirit and a good spirit, and that they're assigned to you from childhood, because all the way into adulthood, right? I was being sexually harassed as an adult, like after high school, like as an adult, I was being sexually harassed and SA'd as an adult, but not by men, but this time by women, on multiple occasions, different settings, different places. It doesn't matter. It still followed me, and it's not something that I was inviting. And it was a different type of women every time. Like, it was never something that I was inviting. It was never something that I openly said, hey, I'm into this. I never. But for some reason, women thought it was okay to talk to me a certain way, touch me like however they wanted. Like, it's weird, man. A lot of the time when it would happen, I was working. So it was one of those settings where like you can't really like tell someone off or anything like that. You just gotta laugh it off, or just try to end the transaction and move on. But as a man, that's not normal. It's like from my point of view of things, that's not normal. I don't think many men are out there, getting groped by women. I think I don't think that happens to many people, to many guys out there. So it's not normal. That's why I believe that there was whatever evil spirit that was assigned to me because of what happened when I was younger, use that to be like like uses that like, all right. So like, all right. So let's have a couple examples, right? There's times where I used to drive Uber, right? Um, there was a time when I was just driving this woman. She's a little drunk, and she hops into the front seat. I'm like, all right, cool. All right, I'm just gonna take her to the house and take her home and be on my way. And while I'm driving, she just grabs my crotch and asked me if I wanted to do something. And I'm like, what the? I'm like, yo, you got to be kidding me right now. Another time when I was working in sales, a couple offered me to go home with them, just making things completely uncomfortable, like looking me up and down, and just the dude's telling me, basically just telling me flat out that I can have his wife and we can go to his house, and and it's just weird. It's awkward. And then there's another time, same thing. Well, not really the same thing, but I'm in sales. I'm walking. I'm doing furniture sales at this time. I was at Rooms to Go, and I'm walking around showing this couple the furniture. Saying they're looking for a couple things, so I'm helping them out, just showing them around. And then the husband, the husband or the boyfriend, whoever he was, this is a different couple. Whoever he was, he goes to the bathroom. As soon as he goes to the bathroom, we're walking around me. I'm still with the girl, with the woman, and we're talking and walking normal. I'm not flirtatious. I'm most of the time when I'm working, most of the time in general, I'm quiet. I let them do most of the talking. I'm just trying to find find facts, like the things that they're interested in by having them talk. So I'm not really saying much. I'm not an energetic person. I'm not I'm not charismatic. So there's no reason for them to I don't think there's ever a reason for them to be interested in that way, or just like there's no reason for them to think that way with me, because I'm not like some gorgeous. I'm no Chris Hemsworth. I don't know who the heck is Chris Hemsworth. I don't know, one of those pretty boys' names. I'm not Brad Pitt or anything like that. So I'm not a looker. Basically, you know what I'm saying. I'm not a looker, right? I'm not charismatic. I'm not talking them off their feet and making them laugh and all that stuff. I'm literally just I'm regular. Like, we having conversation, yeah, we may laugh a little bit, but we're just chilling. We're talking like normal people. So her husband goes, or her boyfriend, whoever he was, he leaves to the bathroom, and then this woman starts just feeling on my body, talking about, oh, your muscle, oh my gosh, oh, your arms, and I'm like, what the mother? And I'm just like, yo, I'm just trying to sell you a couch. I'm just trying to sell you a couch right now. What are you doing? As soon as your partner goes and you just start touching me, and I don't understand. But and then like, this is the last example I'll give, because this is just this was just the weirdest thing. There's a mom and a daughter. This wasn't at Rooms to Go. This is when I was in Tennessee at Ashley Furniture. There was a mom and a daughter, and both of them were sexually harassing me, taking turns just saying the most absurd things to me while I'm taking them around the showroom. And it was just the most disturbing, most awkward thing in the world. Like, how are you two talking about tag teaming someone? That does not make sense. You're a mother and a daughter, and you're speaking this way, and you're like, it doesn't make sense. And after all, they're like, "Oh, we're just kidding," and I'm like, let the roles be reversed. Let let two guys come to someone's job, come to a girl's job, and talk all this dirty nonsense stuff to that woman. You'd be in jail. Like, they'd call the cops. You'd be in jail, like, for real. It don't make no sense. And if you take a poll from men, I guarantee you, man, there's not going to be many. There's not going to be many men that have gone through this multiple times. But like I said, man, like, I truly believe, like, this is going to sound crazy to most people, but I truly believe that there was an evil spirit that was attached to me, and let's call it an energy, right? But in reality, this is an evil spirit or demon, right? I believe that this energy was attached to me, and it would attract other energies and invite them to do these type of things, to try to get me to fall into it, to try to get me to, I don't know. But yeah, like, it's like, so to try to explain it a little bit better, I mean, if you have this certain energy attached to you, right? This energy is going to, once it comes across, like, everybody has this, like, certain energies attached to them, right? So this energy, my energy, right? Whatever energy that was attached to me, it's not mine, but whatever energy that was attached to me, when it came across an energy that was like it, would invite it in, right? Would invite it to I don't know, just, like, I guess, to instigate things and to instigate things, to try to get their energies to come together, if that makes sense. I'm not saying, like, that's exactly how it happens, but that's what I'd imagine. That's how it goes. Like a conversation like these energies have between each other. It would go something like, "Hey, try to get these two. Hey, let's try to get these two together to, to do what we want them to do, which is, whatever you want to say. This person here has been SA'd before, so let's try to entice them to engage into this with this woman, and do these activities together." I believe that's how these conversations would happen between the energies. But now everyone has a certain weakness, a certain thing that has a hold on them, right? And it's not by accident. I truly do not believe anything is by accident. It always starts, and I truly believe these things starts early. Whether you're attached to material things, whether you're attached to your work, whether you're attached to alcohol, whatever you're attached to, even if you're focused on your kids, right? Even if you're attached to your kids, whatever it may be, we all have certain things that can and does become a priority in our life. And in that, we're putting God in the back burner to pursue whatever the thing is that drives us. And I think, and honestly, these energies, they play off of that. They play off of whatever they know that is your weakness, whatever that gets you going. And it's not going to stop until it breaks you. It's not going to stop until, maybe, and also, it may not break you. It may just be, it may just keep you in a state of normalcy. I don't know if that's a word. It just might keep you in a state of just, like, everything's normal, to make it seem like there's nothing else that you need in life. But yeah, it's just weird. Um, but yeah, that's it. But yeah, that was the aftermath uh, of what happened to me as a child. Like that's why I believe. That's why I started off with that. That's why I started off with the, there's different energies, angels and guardians, and being attached to you. Because I truly believe that there's no other explanation. There's no other explanation for it in my case. So going back to my storyline, we're gonna go back. Um, I'm in high school, coming up to. And this is not just about set essay. This is just like about my life and how things happen, and how I become the person I am today. All the types of traumas. So going back, now I'm back in high school. This is in my senior year of high school. So going back, me, my mom, my sisters, we're going to move, and I didn't know where we were going to move. I know, like, since it was my senior year, I didn't want to move. I didn't want to go out of the school zone. So I was like, hey, it's my senior year. Just wherever we move, just move somewhere where I know I'll be able to go to the school, because I got all my friends here. I've been to this school before, like the full for 3 years, for 3 years now. And my senior year, I do not want to go change to another school, try to make friends or whatever. Like, I don't want to do that. And I had a girlfriend at the time as well that also went to the same school, and yeah, it's just I didn't want to go to a different school. And then she said, okay, hell yeah. She's like, all right. And the way we've done this a lot, when I was a kid, we just had to like randomly like up and go, at times, just because whatever was going on. But the day that we had to move, I already had planned a date, with my girlfriend at the time. So I was like, look, I promised her I was going to take her out to do this or whatever. Just pack the little things, and then when I come back, I'll take care of the big things, and then we'll go wherever we're going. So I go out, go on the date, yada yada yada. Come back. I come back to the house, and the house is empty. It was empty all but for my things. And I'm just confused. I'm like, man, all right, they took everything? Okay, why is my stuff still here? So I got on the phone, so I was calling them. And I called all three of them, straight to voicemail. I'm like, how's that happening? Like, how's everybody's phone dead? How's everybody's phone going straight to voicemail? So they had to basically be forwarding me purposely to voicemail. So I kept calling, called again and again, same thing, voicemail. I'm like, and so eventually I realized, they were deliberately sending me to voicemail. And then at this time, so basically everything in the house is gone. I don't know where they went. Nobody's answering the phone. It's just me in the house, an empty house with my stuff in a little corner. Like it wasn't at the time, like it was a very small place. I didn't even have a bedroom. It was just, I had this like little area that was like near the kitchen. It's probably an area for a small table and a couple, like 2-3 chairs, but we just turned that into a bedroom. Like we had this like put up a little curtain to separate it from everything else, the kitchen and whatnot. But yeah, so I'm alone. I'm alone in this house, and at the time I'm hurt and confused. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, why would they do that? But luckily, you know what I'm saying, I'm like, okay, I got my girl. She actually lives like in the same, kind of like in the same neighborhood, just a couple streets down from me. So, you know, I figured I can go stay there. And then, you know, figure everything out in the morning. And I call her, I text her, I'm like, hey, can I come spend the night? Because no one's here, you know, I'm alone, their stuff is here, like, this is happening right now. Like, I told her exactly what happened, yada, yada, yada. She says, no, you can't. My parents are upset with me because we came later than they expected, yada, yada. I'm like, I'm trying to plead with them, like, yo, like, I need your help right now. Like, I need a place to stay right now because I can't be here. I can't, because we have to move. The landlord's gonna take this house. It's gonna take this house. Like, I can't be here. She said, no, I can't. You know, you say, no, you can't. Where's my chapstick? But where did I leave off? I don't know if my lips are glossy now, because let's put on chapstick. But where am I? But yeah, she says, no, you can't. My parents are mad. They said no. I'm like, can you tell them what's going on? Like, can you tell them like why I need to go there? Like, and that's just also like my bed had bed bugs, so I didn't want to sleep on that bed anyways. She's like, no, you can't. I'm sorry, you can't. They don't want you to come. And in my head, I'm remembering them saying, you know, like all these times, you know what I'm saying? Like my girlfriend's parents would, you know, tell me how I'm always welcome. You're always welcome here. You know, you're like family. You know, if you ever need anything, you know, just let them know. And I'm replaying that in my head. I'm like, yo, and I'm thinking in my head, like, how can your family just abandon you like that, cold? You know. And and yeah, like the time I actually needed you guys, that time I actually needed, you know, my girlfriend's parents, her family, that's the time I actually needed them and needed help from them. They weren't there. And so basically, it's like in my head, I'm like, so all that, you know, all that's is just basically a lie. You know, just saying things to say things. And this started to shape how I actually viewed people at this point. Like, it started to alter how I my perception of people and their words. I was just basically starting to change everything. I learned to basically not fully trust, especially women, because at the end of the day, a woman's going to do what she wants to do, despite what they say or your relationship or what your relationship is with them. That's just that. I mean, it's not the case every time, but in a general sense, it's true. So I learned not to trust people like that. I learned not to trust, you know, really anyone's words. I learned not to trust women's words, because your words are always going to be different. You know, like you know, I don't know. Like, I just learned not to trust anything. And I learned to take words as words. Like a word, like whatever you say is whatever you can say, whatever you want. You can tell me whatever you want. Tell me whatever you want me to believe. But at the end of the day, I'm just not the person. I turn into the person that's just not gonna hold much. It's not gonna hold much weight with me. What's gonna hold weight is what I see you do. Because that's what truly, you know, because what you do is actually what it is. It's actually what you're feeling. It's actually what, you know. What am I saying? basically, I just learned to not to take people's word as, you know, as anything binding. Take their actions as what, take just watch that, just look at their actions. That's what you should, determine things on and believe. That's what you should believe, is people's actions. So now, going back to that, so now my hurt is turning into anger. Basically, like this rage. Like I'm not hurt anymore. I'm angry. I'm pissed. I'm feeling something that, and it's like true. I'm feeling true anger, and like I said, I don't get angry much, but this time I was mad, and there were these thoughts that was going through my head, and I can honestly say they weren't my thoughts. They weren't mine, because I'm not that type of person. I'm not the type of person to do the things that I was thinking of doing. But yeah, there were these thoughts that was going through my head at the time, and I just wanted someone to feel hurt. I wanted someone to feel what I was feeling, and I basically flat out, I wanted to, cause harm to someone. And that's not who I am, ever. But at this moment, that's what I wanted. I wanted someone to feel my pain. Yeah, but you can say what you want, but this is what evil spirits are around for these moments that when you're down, this is their time to step in and put type of thoughts in your head to make you do things. They'll use these times to steer you in a direction that isn't right. And now I'm not saying that's an excuse or anything like that. That's obviously not an excuse. You have your choices. You make a choice. Even if you're having a thought, if you choose to do something, it's your choice, right? So even if I did do something, whatever my consequences that's on me, right? Now, so I'm full of rage, and I accept the idea that's going on in my head. So the idea was to go find someone to go hurt. And there's a park near the house, and I had this pocket knife, and I started walking towards the park with my knife, ready to pick a fight. Like, I don't know, man. Like I said, I was just full of anger and full of rage at that time. Yeah, just young and dumb. And I listened to whatever thoughts I was going in my head, and I was like, all right, yeah, let me go through with it. So I walked to this park. There's a basketball court, and usually there's always somebody at this basketball court. There's always people at the basketball court. But at this time, it wasn't too late. The lights were on. The the court lights were still on, so it wasn't too late. But at this time, I'm telling you, there's usually always a group of people at this basketball court. But this time, there was no one there. I don't understand how. Well, I do understand how. God told everybody not to go to the courts that day, because one, I'd either be dead, because I'm walking over there with a knife in my hand, looking stupid. I'd either be dead, shot dead, or this is in America, so like everybody got guns. I'd either be dead or I'd be in jail if there was somebody there, right? But yeah, I mean, if someone was there, they had every right to shoot me, every right to take me out, because I'm literally just angry, just walking and not thinking about nothing, just walking over there with a knife in my hand. And then I saw there was nobody there. I'm literally at the park now, just standing there in the middle of it. And I started to feel stupid. I wanted to fight somebody and wanted to hurt someone for something that happened to me. Like, it's stupid. I come to that, like, and with that, like, looking back at that, when I think about that moment, I start to understand, the phrase hurt people. And I start to understand how people become criminals, how people become, delinquents, how people could become, how people get into these type of situations, how people, because I understand how they get to those situations now, because, when you're feeling hurt, when you're feeling these things, sometimes these thoughts that come into your head, you think it's a good idea because you think it's going to make things better. It's obviously not. But yeah, so I ended up going back to the house, and I'm still angry. So I put the knife away, and there's literally nothing in the house other than stuff that I have. Some clothes. There's like a little bed there. It has bed bugs on it, and trying to get on that. So I just start breaking things in the house. Breaking things in the kitchen. I started breaking the cabinets. Started breaking the drawers. Just to, like, get rid of, just to release some anger. I start breaking things. And then as I'm breaking things, I start to feel stupid about that. I'm like, I'm breaking these people's stuff for what? Because I'm hurt, because I'm angry. Stupid. And then I stopped. It's too late now. The stuff's already broken. But I stopped, and then I just, like, sat on the floor. I'm thinking, like, I'm scrolling through my phone, scrolling through my contacts, like, who can I call? Who can I, like, my family ain't there. My girl and her family ain't there. So, like, I'm just scrolling through the phone, just, like, looking at it. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I'm just scrolling. I don't know who to call. I don't know what to do. I'm embarrassed. At this time, I'm embarrassed. So I can't call many people. Just to call them, for them to tell me no too, and now everybody knows my business. I ain't trying to do that. I'm embarrassed. I'm hurt. Like, so I decided, my last lifeline, right? I decided to call my best friend. This is basically my brother now. He was my best friend. We've known each other since second grade, right? So I called him as a last resort. And the thing is, like, he was my best friend in elementary school, right? But after elementary school, we got separated. When we went to middle school, we got separated. He moved to Texas, and I was supposed to move somewhere else as well. So we didn't have any contact. And then freshman year, we came in contact. He moved back to Florida, and we ended up at the same high school. So we came back in contact with each other, and then we just picked up where we left off. But yeah, I decided to call him as my last resort. I'm calling, see, I'm embarrassed. It's late at night. I had no one else to call. And if he doesn't pick up, like, I don't know what else I'm gonna do. Like, I don't know where to go at that point. But I tried him anyways. I called him, told him what happened. And he goes, all right, give me a second, hold on. So give him a second. Like a minute later, he calls or texts back, and he's like, me and my brother's coming right now. And they came to pick me up. I ended up staying at his brother's house. And I don't think they actually know. I never told them. I don't think they know, like, what that did for me, I don't think they know what that did for me. I don't think they know that they were my last resort. Like, I don't think they know that if they didn't pick up, like, I don't know. I don't know what would have happened. I don't know what would have happened if they didn't pick up. But they were the last, like, my lifeline. And I don't think they know that. So thank you to you guys if you guys are watching this. And looking back at it now, I can confidently say, like, God's the one that reconnected us back for that night, you know? Because I would have just been another, some other type of statistic, to be honest with you. Would have been out on the street. But even while I was living there with them, in my head, I always felt like sooner or later, they're gonna kick me out. Sooner or later, they're gonna tell me to leave. Sooner or later, you know. Like, I just felt just like I couldn't really trust anyone. I couldn't really trust them. Because of what's been going on, like because of my past, what's been going on lately. I felt I couldn't trust anybody, even though they were there for me many times in my life. But there's always just that little part of me. It's just like, nobody is gonna be there for you without either wanting something or without a condition of some sort. But now, recently I realized that God sent people into my life to show me that I can trust. There are people that I can trust, and there are people who will help me without expecting anything from them or turning away from me, like Tim, his family, Miss Schroeder and her family, they were always there for me, like even that school year, not just Tim and his family, his brother and his family, Miss Schroeder, she stepped in, she started, just helping me out and, building me back up. And I just didn't see it at that time. I didn't see that they were, they were the angels that, were placed in my life. All right, so I had to take a break. The Clean Ladies came and went out to see a movie and get something to eat. As time went on after high school, I just continued to live my life however I saw fit. And during this time, I'm still having these nightmares. I'm still, still having the sleep paralysis. Every so often, it never went away. Around 2022, I moved out to Nashville, or Nashville area, Hendersonville to be exact. That's when things got a little serious. I was sleeping around more often. And the dreams were just got more intense and intense as time went on, basically, to the point where it was happening every single night. The point where it was happening every single night. But yeah, I'd wake up in cold sweats, and this was like every night. Waking in and out of dreams, just, it was terrible. And I couldn't escape it. When I wake up, I'd go back to sleep, I'd fall right back into the same exact position that I was in this dream. So there was literally no escaping it. I was probably getting about maybe 3 hours of sleep each night, at best, at most, man, because I truly could not sleep. I truly couldn't function at night. So to try to cope with that, try to help me sleep a little bit more, started drinking a little bit more wine. I started drinking a little bit more at night, only at night pretty much, just to try to help me fall asleep and stay asleep. So basically I'd buy like a case of wine each week, because every single night, I'm drinking about maybe I'm drinking probably, a whole glass, almost a whole bottle, each night. But I was waking up with headaches. That wasn't really working. I didn't like it. Like I said, I wasn't an alcoholic or anything like that, but I just needed something to help me sleep. But I wake up with a hangover, so that wasn't the solution. So I figured I'd try some weed out, man. Now I knew people that smoked weed, and I knew that they had some dealers, but I just wasn't trying to buy from a random person because I don't know, man. I heard these days, they be lacing it with stuff, so I just didn't want to take that chance. Now in the state of Tennessee, weed it's illegal. They have this like synthetic thing, but it's not actually marijuana. So about 3 hours north of Tennessee is Illinois. And right on that border, there was this dispensary. It was completely legal, you know what I'm saying? You order, how it worked was you ordered what you wanted online, then you go inside and you pay with cash, and then you get your goods and then you go on your way. So I said, you know what, let me just try that. So I drove out to Illinois and picked up, what I wanted, and then drove back down. It's like probably like a 6-hour freaking 6-hour mission just for some marijuana. And I did it, a few times. I drove up there a few times. I was trying to make it work. I drove out there probably like 2 or 3 times to pick up some weed, but honestly, it didn't help much. It helped me fall asleep quicker, but at that time things were getting even worse with the dreams, and I felt like I was kind of being tormented at this point. And before I started drinking heavily, and before I started the weed thing, from these dreams, from the stuff, like I started to feel paranoid on things, and this is off. This is at this time I'm not drinking heavy and I'm not smoking, but I started feeling paranoid, like someone's out to get me. There'd be times where I'd hear people walking past my door at night, and I grab my gun and I look in the peephole and I'm trying to see who's there. But I was just complete paranoia for some reason. And like I said, I wasn't under the influence at that time. And right before the paranoia started, 2 things happened. And it was just the most craziest, it's like basically like one was a dream, and one was like while I was awake. It's the craziest thing. This dream that I had was very, very vivid, like how it is right now. The way the shadows are hitting these objects, everything, right? When I woke up, it was the same exact way in the dream. So in this dream, I'm taking a nap in the dream and this is during the day. In the dream, I'm taking a nap. In real life, I'm taking a nap, and in the dream, I'm taking a nap. And this is in broad daylight. This isn't at night. So I wake up in the dream, and I sit up from my bed, and so my room, there's a door, right? Obviously, and then there's a hallway, and then another door to the rest of the apartment. And when I'm in this dream, I wake up and I sit up and I look straight down that hallway because both doors are open, and I'm hearing this grudgy noise around the corner, all the way down the hallway. And this creature, it was all I know of how to explain it. It was beige, but it was like nothing I've ever seen. It's basically just crawling slowly while making these noises, and it turns its head towards me and starts crawling towards me, and it just looks like it wants to basically devour me. It's just crawling, and then I'm in this dream. I'm just I'm stunned with fear, I can't move. And then this creature just suddenly jolts at me, and then basically hits me in the chest, and that's when I wake up in real life. And then when I wake up, everything's the exact same. Now I'm taking a nap, so there's no way that my body, my brain knows how the shadows are gonna hit, how how I don't remember how. I guess I can remember how the doors are placed, but just the main things like the lighting, the exact same lighting, everything looks the exact same from when I woke up in the dream. And I looked I looked at the doors. I quickly shut that thing. I got up, I ran to the door and quickly shut it. I'm like, yo, that's that was just a little too much for me. And then the second thing that happened, this was after that, like I said, I've had sleep paralysis a few times. Well, a lot of times actually. I had a lot of sleep paralysis in the past. Um, and this time was different though. So, again, in broad daylight, I'm taking a nap. So I wake up and I can't move. I'm literally like, I'm on my back like this and I can't move. And I can look to the left a little bit. And I'm like, okay, this is happening again. So I just gotta wait it out, because that's what I usually do when I have sleep paralysis. I just wait it out, or sometimes I even fall back asleep. So I'm just waiting it out to start to be able to move. I'm trying to see if I can move any of my limbs or anything like that. No, I can't. I'm like, all right. Then, as I'm laying there, I start to get scared, because it feels like somebody's next to me, and I can't look and I can't move and I can look to the left a little bit, but I cannot look to the right. Like my vision, like it's blocked out right here. I can't see from that side. Yeah, my vision is blocked. I can't see from this side. And I just feel this presence next to me. Like, like if you ever had the feeling where, somebody's behind you, or somebody's looking at you, and you turn around and you confirm that, yeah, somebody was staring at me, or somebody's following me. That's what I was feeling at this time, as this thing is like standing next to me. It felt like it was like standing right next to me, not touching me, but standing next to me and looking at me. And that's just what I felt. And then I started to feel the sense of like this thing wanted to hurt me. This thing wanted to kill me, Like it felt like whatever was staring at me was out for blood. Like it wanted to destroy me. Like, you ever seen somebody that's pissed off? And you look at their eyes, like they want to, that person looks like they want to hurt somebody, or the person is about to rage. And I started panicking a little bit, and I still can't move. And my heart starts pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping, because it feels like this feeling is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Like they want to hurt me, like they're right here. And I can't do anything. I can't fight. I can't fight back. Can't do anything. I can't move. So the only thing what comes to my mind is like, Lord, help me. And as soon as I said, Lord, help me, as soon as I finished the sentence, me, in my right ear, the same place where it felt like somebody was standing next to me, it's like, there's this deep breath that goes that's like in my ear. It was kind of something like, and then as soon as that ended, I was able to move. I was able to finally move my limbs. And when I was able to move my limbs, I literally just swing with my left hand at nothing. There's nobody there, but I'm swinging because I'm so scared. I swing. I'm so like that's how scared I was. Like that's how it felt like somebody was right there. So I had to swing to basically try to defend myself, but nothing was there. And I didn't know what to make of it. It was probably one of the scariest moments of my life, because I heard a whole breath, like a whole deep breath, like something being sucked out, like something like right here being like somebody like taking a inhaling, not being really sucked out, because I don't believe I was ever possessed by a demon, because I gave my life to Christ a while ago, and once you do that, you're His. You can't really be possessed. So, but it was like somebody was inhaling, like taking a deep, deep, deep inhale, and then just like taking it away, I guess. And I just didn't know what the heck that was, or what was going on. So after that event, that's when the paranoia started. The dreams got even more and more and more intense. Waking up to cold sweats, can't sleep more than 3 hours, and that's me adding it all together each night, because I'd go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep, wake up. Probably woke up at least 4 times each night. Was not sleeping. So at that point, things just started going downhill, and I'm trying to figure out my life. I'm working. I signed back up in school. I'm going on all these dates. Just hooking up with girls, and just trying to find some type of fulfillment and some type of purpose in something, But I was just getting more depressed and more lonely. The more women I slept with, the more I felt lonely. The more I was like falling into more depression. That was not helping. It got to the point where I didn't even want to have sex anymore. But I didn't want to have sex anymore, I didn't enjoy it, but I still wanted it, and I still went after it. I just couldn't stop going after it for some reason. It was the dreams. They were always like me in the middle of a war, of like basically um, me in the middle of a war, and I'm on the losing side, and people are, I'm right about to be killed, or we're being chased, or a group of people are chasing after me, or these dark figures are coming after me. It just every single night, couldn't escape it. It's like every time nightfall came, I dreaded it. I hated when nighttime came, because I can't sleep. Everything was going down, and it wasn't a good situation. It just wasn't a good time. So at this time, I was just fed up. There would be times where, I'd have my, I had a gun, right? So there'd be times where I'd have my gun on the like little nightstand next to my bed, and I'd be staring at it, I'd be looking at it like, man, if I take this right now and I pull it, if I with YouTube, I can't really say certain things, but if I decided to end it, everything would be done. Like I wouldn't have these dreams. I wouldn't have all this stress, all this depression. But yeah, that's what I was thinking. But luckily, I honestly was just too scared to do it. To be honest with you, my thoughts on it were as always, if you do that, if you take your own life, that's a ticket to hell, right? So I was just too afraid to do it, because I'm trying to escape this bad situation, and I'm gonna end up in a worse, even more worse situation. But yeah, and I just didn't have the nuts to do it, so that never happened. And I've had those type of thoughts before that too, on different occasions. But yeah, I mean, but yeah. Also, like, throughout my life, I kind of always thought to myself, like, I felt, well, not really thought, I felt like, for some reason, like in myself, I always felt like, I was gonna pass early, like I wasn't going to get to an older age. So a lot of times I would think to myself, like, oh, what's the point of saving money? Because I'm probably gonna die soon. What's the point of buying a house? I'm probably gonna die soon. Like, it doesn't matter. It was weird, and it went on through my teens, through to adulthood. Those thoughts, like, I just didn't think I was going to make it that far, and then I don't know why. But now it's like I'm constantly asking God for another day. It's like, it's just in your will, please let me do this, and please let me, survive this plane ride so I can go to this country and see the mountains, all that stuff. But yeah, but it's kind of funny, man. Like, I mean, it's not funny. It's like, it's a serious situation, but like, I don't really, I take light of it now. Like, imagine if I did do it, like, nobody would know why. Nobody would know, like, what happened. And it's just crazy to think, like, that's how it happens. People never know, because people never say anything. You never know, because a lot of people that's in depression don't say anything. A lot of people that's in depression or in some type of funk mentally, they put on like this fake face, the fake, we give you guys a fake character, make you think everything's all right. Because anytime anything happens, like saying, like, whether it's an inconvenience or not, I just say, yeah, it's cool, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? I let things go. I let it be. I don't try to make much fuss about anything. I don't like arguing. I don't like fighting. I don't like, I just try to always let things be, and it's whatever. Because a lot of times it's not worth it. It's not worth the energy to fight and to argue and all that stuff. And so I usually just let things go and, say whatever, it's fine. And I don't ever want to burden people with my issues. So I just keep things to myself and, just leave it. It'll figure itself out. It'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying? That's how I always went about it. But I still had those thoughts. But yeah, I always had to go through things alone. I don't recommend that to anyone. If you have a problem, if you have, if you have any type of issues, man, make it known. Tell someone that you think can help or can help, because it's not worth it. It's not, it's not worth it going through anything alone. It's not fun doing anything alone. But I guess I wasn't alone. I had God with me at the time, well, at all times. God was with me, so He could help me through everything. And the way I actually got over this was one night. This is still in Tennessee. I'm still having these dreams, yada yada yada. Still everything's still happening. So one night, I was gonna go to bed. I put on some music. I decided to put on some gospel music. You know what I'm saying? Just try to get some good, good energy, good vibes. You know what I'm saying? And one of Kanye's songs came on from one of his like Christian album. It's called 24. The song goes something like, "Dear God, make it all right. Only you can make it all right." Like, that's it. It started playing, and as I'm laying there, I'm laying on my back, and I'm just like, man, God help me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm listening to this song and saying, "God, make it all right. Only you can make it all right." It's like, we're gonna be okay, yada yada yada. And I just started I lifted my hands and I started bawling out, crying. And just as I'm not a crier. I don't do that. Like, before this, I didn't cry for years. Before that moment, I didn't cry for years. Like, I didn't break a tear for nothing. I'm not, I was not a crier. I wasn't very emotional. I wasn't a very emotional person at all. But when I heard that song and started playing, I was just bawling my eyes out. And I'm asking, at that time, I'm asking God to make it better, help me, fix this. And I ended up sleeping like a baby that night. That's probably off crying. But then I started to gradually make changes. To try to change my life and started living the way that, that God would want me to live. You know what I'm saying? So I started staying away from women. I dumped all the wine down the drain, threw out the weed. And I remember a week after that, after I'm trying to make these changes, this woman hits me up, asked me, to come over. And there was a woman that, I was trying to pursue for a while. For a while I was out there. She was an older woman, but she was gorgeous, just gorgeous. And she was, we went on a couple dates, maybe 1 or 2 dates. But every time, I'd ask her to come over or anything like that, she'd be like, "No, I don't want, I'm not that type of girl. You still gotta get to know you, yada yada yada." And I'm like, all right, whatever. But I'd still keep in contact. And then finally, she wants me to come over now. And I was just making up all these excuses as to why I couldn't, say, "Oh, I got a project I gotta do. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I'm sorry, I don't know." And basically, she ended up convincing me to go, so I caved. So go to her house that night, but I'm uncomfortable the entire time. She's sitting on the couch. I sit on the couch like the whole other end. She calls me out on it. Gets close to me. We're watching a movie. And I'm just uncomfortable the entire time. I felt like I had to get out of there. And I sort of all right, I gotta go. And she's like, "Oh, why? What happened? What happened?" And I was just like, I really have to do this project. I just have to do it. So, "Oh, you can, why don't you just stay, yada yada." I'm like, I can't. So I ended up leaving. And I felt bad that I left. Cause she didn't know that what was going on, but she did. But I just felt bad. She probably felt like it was her or something like that. And on the ride home, I was proud of myself, man. I was like, yo, I said no to this girl that I wanted the woman I wanted for a long time. Well, not a long time, just probably a couple months. Probably like 2-3 months or so. But I said no to her. And I put on some gospel music and I'm bumping it all the way home, and I'm just proud of myself for that. And I've said no to women before, but it was just, I don't really say no to someone that I'm actually pursuing. But yeah, it was an awesome feeling. But it wasn't a complete 180 all at once. I slipped up, like anybody else. I slipped up a few times, more than a few times, but I was making gradual changes. I think you could probably say it's like borderline. I don't want to say it was addiction, but I was making gradual changes. So it was just a slow progress of me trying to be what God wants me to be, and I actually felt like God was making changes. He was changing the way I thought, changing the way I looked at women, changed the way changed the way I did things. And slowly but surely, the dream stopped. The dream stopped and started going away. I didn't have sleep paralysis. Started to forgive, and just really truly let go of a lot of things. It's been almost 2 years now. I haven't had sleep paralysis, and I used to have sleep paralysis very, very often. It's been 2 years now. I haven't had any of those type of dreams. I had those dreams my entire life. So, like real change happened. But I ended up leaving Tennessee and moving out to Georgia with my brother and his family. I joined a church. I continued to try to strengthen my relationship with Christ. Then I decided I was going to move overseas and teach kids English. And part of the reason why I wanted to do that was to overcome basically the fear that I had of myself, like, not being able to happily be around kids without thinking in my head, oh, they're gonna think of me the way they're gonna think of me about, they're gonna think of me, they're gonna think that I'm doing something that I'm not, or just because of something that happened to me. I'm not what happened to me, what I'm saying, but it's whatever. I haven't done the teaching thing yet. I'm still looking into it. I might end up doing it pretty soon, but I am seeing different parts of the world. That's something that I was praying about, and that's something that I wanted to do, see different parts of the world, and I'm doing that. And now I'm here. But yeah, man, I'm like till this day, everything, I was healed. Parts of me was healed. And I still got a lot of work to do, but that's just to show, God's grace and God's, His power, what He can do for you, and all that type of trauma. Literally, I'm at peace with everything, and that type of stuff is like people go to therapists for people go to therapy for that type of stuff, and for years, and I was able to get over it. I was able to heal with Christ. So it's just, it's crazy, man. I mean, if you're not a religious person, that's fine. But I encourage anybody to just give it a try. Anyone can ask him for help. Like in the Bible, he always says, he's just waiting for you to let him in. Standing at the door. All you have to do is open it. It's because it's locked from the inside. It's your choice. But yeah, but like I said, I still got a lot to work on. One of the things is I'm very distant. I'm not very involved in my friends or family's lives. I usually just keep my distance, and I just I don't really talk to them much. Because part of me feels like if I'm not bringing value, I shouldn't be around if I'm not really bringing value. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It kind of feels like what it kind kind of feels like I'm not, I don't want to say I'm worthless, but I want us to feel like, sometimes I feel like it's like sometimes I feel like I'm no good to you. Like what am I? What am I? How what value are you getting from me? Like when I'm around, like what value what value am I bringing to you? If I don't feel like I'm not bringing any value, I I just stay out and just do my thing. But it is something I gotta work on. But yeah, man, like don't hit me up no weird questions or weird text messages or anything like that. If you watch this whole thing through, like the guy says on the Instagram, still good. Like everything, I'm good. Like I'm good. Like don't worry about anything. Like I'm perfectly fine. But yeah, I just got things to work on, things to grow. Like my relationship with Christ is like a roller coaster. You know what I'm saying? Like with any relationship, it's up and down. A lot of things that happen. I still question some things, but I feel like that's okay for you to question, because if you're questioning something, that means you want to understand. I don't think God gets mad at you for that, or gets mad at me for that. So, it's one of those things. But yeah, man, it's crazy how life is. But yeah, that's what I want to tell you. Hope it wasn't depressing. Hope it wasn't a downer. It's a good story. It's a good story. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's like the main events that happened. The rest of my videos aren't going to be like this. The rest of my videos are going to be some fun-filled stuff, just adventures. I'm out here in Thailand. Pretty sure I said that last time. I was in the Philippines, but now I'm in Thailand. You just take a look at that in Chiang Mai, and I'm actually finishing up school. I have 3 more weeks left. And once I'm done, once I submit my last assignment, I'm gonna go out to the mountains. There's this area where I wanted to go where it's kind of far. I think it's like 2 or 3 hours away from here. But there's this place that had like a really, really nice view that I want to go to. So I'm gonna go out there just for like a celebration. But yeah, man, like that's it, I guess. Everything's cool, everything's good. Keep on trucking. Keep on doing your thing. I will be. But yeah, I'm just out here trying to figure everything out and figure out what my next steps are gonna be. And I need to find a job, man. I need to get a job, because I'm jobless out here. It's kind of crazy. When you see those Instagram posts and talk about your friends that has no job, that's always out somewhere, always traveling somewhere, it's true. When you don't have a job, you can do things like this. But I don't have a lot of money. That's why I need to get a job. But yeah, so anybody hiring remote, let me know. I'll be graduating with a computer science degree, specializing in data analytics. So hit me up if you got a remote plug. So one more thing I forgot to add. This was not to make anybody feel bad or anything like that, because I'm blessed. Like I'm truly like what I realize is like whatever I went through is nothing compared to anyone else. It's nothing compared to like other people. Life can always be worse. And that's what I realize, and that's what I try to remember. And that's what I want, that's like kind of like the whole message of this thing. Understand that no matter what, you're blessed. Like whether it's the good or the bad, you just count it as a blessing, because I it only happened a couple times. Whatever my situations was, it's minuscule to people living, in North Korea, people living in other war situations. There's people that they're sex trafficked from birth. It's just somebody always has it worse. That's what I understand. That's what I believe, and that's what helps me see things as just like I'm good. Like I'm truly, truly blessed. I'd take my life over anybody's life. any day, because I don't know, like, imagine if I gave up and, you know, I wouldn't have been able to enjoy the things that I'm doing now. So, yeah, like, don't feel sad, don't feel anything like that. Like, I am great, I'm good, everything's fine, everything's perfect. Well, everything isn't perfect, but, you know, I'm making the best of whatever the situation is. And I'm blessed, and you should believe that you're blessed as well, whatever your situation is. Remember, like, it can always be worse. As long as you're waking up, and you know, even if you don't have a place to sleep, it can always be worse. You know, if you're alive, count that as a blessing. Start by, you know, I encourage you guys to start off by counting the little things, man. The smallest things, just appreciate that. You know, see that as a blessing, and then you'll be able to see your life as something precious, and you'll be able to see that any little situation, any little inconvenience really isn't a big deal. And honestly, you're blessed to have inconveniences. You're blessed to have problems. You're blessed to, you know, have challenges. You're blessed, you know, for whatever comes in your life. Whatever's going on in your life, it's a blessing. Count it as that, as a blessing, because it is. Honestly, it can always be worse. But yeah, that's my little send off there. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment, you know, wherever you want to comment. And yeah, see ya.